Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Jeanelle Slade.
And I'm Jay Cohn. A new streamlined community care program for American veterans is poised to pass the U.S. Senate.
The bipartisan VA Mission Act passed the House last week. The Senate began debate on the bill today and hopes it will reach the president's desk by Memorial Day.
Now, this new veterans bill passed out of committee with just one dissenting vote.
It would scrap the Veterans Choice Program in favor of a community care program that allows veterans and their doctors to choose where a veteran's care can be best addressed. Veterans Committee Chair Johnny Isaacson of Georgia and Ranking Democrat John Tester highlighted the key points of the legislation on the Senate floor today as that debate got underway. Not only does the bill streamline how vets access community providers, it creates new standards for faster reimbursement for those private providers.
And it also takes aim at several problems that have plagued the VA, such as ongoing workforce shortages. And the bill also addresses the opioid crisis by establishing stronger safety measures and guidelines for private providers who prescribe opioids to veterans. The bill now has the support of 38 military and veterans groups, as well as President Trump, who has tweeted he plans to sign the bill into law.
Another key issue for veterans, Agent Orange, and how the VA handles claims from thousands of people affected by the chemical during the Vietnam War.
Q2's Samantha Harrelson is on special assignment tonight.
Agent Orange remains a sad chapter among many sad chapters of the Vietnam era in American history. Agent Orange was a program where the United States sprayed herbicides and defoliants in Vietnam to kill off vegetation hiding of the enemy. At that time, the government told American servicemen that Agent Orange was not harmful to humans. But in time, soldiers or sailors or airmen exposed to Agent Orange began to develop all manner of sickness and cancer and those sorts of things.
The chemical the government once claimed was harmless to soldiers now has claimed the lives of many who fought in Vietnam. A list of various diseases and disorders make up what the VA calls presumptive illnesses, meaning if a service member develops one of these conditions, the presumed cause is exposure to Agent Orange. In these cases, the service member has a more expedited path towards coverage by the VA. Current policy covers service members who are in Vietnam from January 1962 to May 1975. It covers those who were on the ground, as well as those who had brief visits ashore or served aboard a ship that operated in the inland waterways. There is also coverage for service members who were in the Korean demilitarized zone. The policy does not, however, cover those who served aboard ships off the coast of Vietnam, also known as blue water sailors.
The truth is that they were also exposed to Agent Orange. It's in the air. And so they were exposed, and so there's some issues that have come along with their health problems now, you know, some 50 years after Vietnam.
It's been very frustrating for us. My brother became ill early last year, 2017.
Charlene's brother Peter served aboard the USS King off the Vietnamese coast. Last year, he was diagnosed with multiple myeloma, one of the VA's presumptive illnesses. But since he served on a ship off the coast, the family had to prove that Peter had stepped foot on Vietnamese soil for him to receive benefits.
I do remember my brother saying that he had gotten off the ship and gone and got mail and come back on the ship. Agent Orange, I believe, is kind of a sticky substance. It's going to stick to your shoes, your clothes, your hands, and in some manner, all of these sailors were exposed to this.
The VA finally found proof in a statement that Peter was in fact on the ground.
Just this past week, the VA approved my brother's claim, 100% multiple myeloma due to Agent Orange. We're very grateful for that. Obviously, it's still frustrating, it's still upsetting, but it's progress. And my feeling is my brother is still working for the Vietnam vets, even though he passed away 5 months ago.
Montana Senators Jon Tester and Steve Daines are a part of the fight. They're currently working to get legislation passed to ensure these blue water sailors are covered, even if they never stepped foot on land. But the fight is far from over. The effect Agent Orange could have on future generations is still unknown.
There's real challenges here. It does bring up the point that we do need to do more research to find out, because in fact, if it does manifest itself in the next generation, we've got another set of problems that we need to deal with in Congress.
Samantha Harrelson, MTN News.
Thanks, Sammy.
Now, Charlene says the VA is a colossal machine, so it should be understood that things do take time, but she says those affected should also advocate for themselves.
We're now just 2 weeks away from Montana's primary election on June 5th.
Yellowstone County Elections Administrator Brett Rutherford tells Q2 as of today, more than 18,000 voters have already voted. Rutherford expects as many as 36,000 ballots returned by Election Day. Absentee ballots were mailed to 66,000 county residents on May 11th.
Now, this year's primary is highlighted by key races for the U.S. Senate and the U.S. House. And there were also 2 district court judge races on the ballot, as well as a few contested state legislative races.
Another outside group is making significant ad buys in Montana's Republican Senate primary.
Those ads support State Auditor Matt Rosendale and attack one of his opponents, former State District Judge Russell Fagg of Billings.
Russ Fagg, he's tough on victims.
Club for Growth Action has spent nearly $1.2 million on both TV and digital ads across the state this month. Those ads both for Rosendale and against Fagg. The latest ad says Fagg took 45 years off the maximum sentence for a man who beat his wife in 2013.
In a news release this week, though, Fagg calls the ad false and misleading. And the campaign also released a statement from Yellowstone County Attorney Scott Twido, who says the 5-year sentence imposed by Fagg in that case mentioned was actually the recommendation of prosecutors. Earlier in the race, 2 groups financed by a conservative Illinois billionaire spent $1.2 million on ads promoting Rosendale.
In other news, even as gun violence is in the news again, the issue of how to prevent it remains a risky political topic for Montana candidates. Yet Democrats in Montana's U.S. House race are talking about it. And as MTN's Mike Dennison reports, there are some stark differences among them.
Montana's Republican Congressman Greg Gianforte is a strong supporter of gun ownership rights and is backed by the National Rifle Association. Some of the Democrats who want to challenge him this fall, however, aren't shying away from taking a very different stance. Kathleen Williams of Bozeman says assault-style rifles used in recent mass shootings should be allowed only in controlled environments, such as shooting ranges.
I think it's time that we have an adult conversation about drawing a bright line between legitimate hunting firearms, which I own several, and weapons for killing.
Attorney John Heenan of Billings says background checks should occur on gun show sales and that so-called bump stocks should be banned. He also says mental health and other programs must be funded to help keep guns out of the hands of people who shouldn't have them.
I don't want to take anybody's guns away. I want to take Greg Gianforte's job away.
Grant Keir of Missoula says solutions to gun violence in Montana may be different than elsewhere in the country, and sound research is needed to determine the best solutions. He says he fully supported a move by Congress this spring to remove an effective ban on federal research on gun violence prevention.
We now need to fund the CDC so that we have good policy decisions that we can present to voters and give them options.
All told, 5 Democrats are vying for their party's nomination to take on Gianforte this fall. Keir, Heenan, Williams, and Bozeman attorneys John Meyer and Jared Pettinato. We asked Williams if her strong stance on assault rifles and gun violence would be a liability in the fall election. She said if the NRA gives her an F rating, she'll say it stands for fearless. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Mike, again, absentee ballots for the primary election went out May 11th. The election day is June 5th.
President Trump now raising doubts about the timing of his historic summit with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, set to take place next month. South Korea's president is here in the U.S. this week in an effort to help ease tensions. Just last week, North Korea abruptly canceled talks with the South and signaled it might no longer be interested in talks with the U.S. if the Trump administration demands the country give up its nuclear weapons immediately. In a bid to secure the summit, President Trump says The U.S. would not seek a regime change in North Korea if Kim agrees to a deal.
On the weather front, Bob, the clouds were beautiful, but downright ominous.
Yeah, they look
tonight.
pretty ugly. I want to show you some. Our storm tracker, John Ojeda, went out and got this shot out here. You can see it's over there by I believe it is by Shepherd Acton Highway and Highway 87. Yeah, that's what it looked like. That's what John Ojeda was looking at tonight, as you can see. And what you can't see here is that whole cloud base was spinning very slowly tonight. It was kind of ominous. And that's what it looked like. You can see it on the Doppler radar out by Acton. You can see that big band of showers and thunderstorms there. Not only that, we also have another band of rain coming out of Wyoming. This produced some very heavy rain over in Bighorn County. In fact, over there by Meeteetse and places like Graybull and Worland, they have flash flood warnings until 10:45 tonight because of the showers and thunderstorms there. Also across the rest of south central Montana, that's a flood watch until tomorrow night. Looking for some heavy rain there, could cause a lot of flooding. How much more rain are we going to get? Looks like in Billings maybe close to an inch. We'll have more of that in a few more minutes.
All right, thanks, Bob.
A teenage suspect is in custody tonight after he allegedly shot his mom's ex-boyfriend in the neck.
Billings Police Chief Rich St. John says the shooting happened around 1:30 this afternoon. It occurred inside an apartment at 801 South 28th Street. The teenager allegedly fired 2 rounds, striking the victim once.
Authorities say the victim was talking to police on scene before being transported to the hospital. So far, there is no word on what led to the shooting.
A Billings area man drowned in a boating accident yesterday on the Smith River. The body of 44-year-old Chad Newbreast recovered near the Eden Bridge Monday afternoon. Newbreast was among 3 men who were floating the Smith in 2 boats. One of those boats capsized after it hit a rock, tossing 2 of the men into the swollen river. The Cascade County Sheriff's Office says Newbreast was pinned underneath the boat. The other man was able to make it to shore. Authorities say the men were not wearing life jackets.
A change in local cable business could potentially displace 70 Billings employees. Charter Communications Incorporated will eliminate its video repair call service at its Billings Center. The 70 Spectrum workers were notified today and will be offered new jobs in the Billings Call and Sales Center on Monad Road. A company spokesman tells Q2 News in an email that the company is also preparing for some of those employees to leave. Charter has about 400 employees in the area. It's unclear how this latest move will affect the company's total employment in Billings.
A new pizza restaurant will soon be setting up shop on the Magic City's West End.
Rimrock Mall marketing manager Darren Olson confirms Blaze Pizza will move into the Paris Nails and Spa location next to Starbucks on 24th Street West. Now, the restaurant, which has some 250 locations across the nation, offers build-your-own pizza with fresh-made dough and local ingredients.
Olson tells us this will be the first Blaze Pizza location here in Montana. And demolition on the old Kmart building, located at 24th and Central on the city's west end. Apparently something new is on the horizon there. Winco is set to build a new grocery store at that site, which will take place later this year. You see the new chain link fence up around the property.
Coming up on tonight's 10 o'clock news, is this Memorial Day one for revving up the engine or sticking close to home? We'll take a close look at the numbers.
And coming up later in sports tonight, Q2's Athletes of the Week show us the joy of competing.
You're watching MTN News with Jay Cohn and Jeanelle Slade. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Green. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana.